Before we get stuck into the episode, a little plea from me, if I may. I know that we have some awesome and loyal listeners of the show. I can see it in the stats. So thank you so much for listening to the show. My plea is for you to please hit that subscribe button, to like and rate the show, whichever platform you're on. It would mean so much to me. I know this is something that all podcasters are asking for, but it really does make a difference and it would mean a lot to me. So thank you in advance. On with the show. Hello and welcome to Beyond the Bio. Stay tuned this week to learn all about what an awards strategy is, why you need to have one, and what should be in it. This week I'm joined by Rachael Cook, who is our awards guru here at Moja and is back to chat to us about awards.
I'm back for more.
We're still in January. We are in that whole planning phase that everyone's always in. Everyone's enthusiastic in January. Why is now a good time of year to be looking at doing an award strategy?
Because there is no better time, Sophie, to do it. You know, you've got to start planning and thinking ahead, because identifying and crafting awards and entering awards takes time. So it makes sense to do that right at the start of the year, so then you can start to block out the time in your diary and almost work around it. You know, when we go back to that time-consuming thing and crafting it, if you're going to do it, you want to do a job well. So if you don't identify the awards to go for and the reason why you're doing it, and don't block out that time based on that awards calendar, then you're going to be rushing it, because all of a sudden when you think, oh, actually there's nothing in May, and you know that award process opens, then you've already got lots of appointments in your diary and you just haven't got the time to do it. And then that's when you think, oh, should I apply for it? Should I not? And then it just drops by the wayside.
That's so true. And I guess January, there probably aren't that many awards open right now. It's not that peak season yet. So having that time to think and reflect on what you want to do, what your objectives are, etc., it is a great time. Thinking about what an award strategy, well, what even is an award strategy? You know, someone listening, they've not entered any awards before, they might be thinking, what the heck goes into one? How would you sum one up?
Well, your award strategy is all based around why you enter awards and for what reason. So once you know that, then you can start to plot and plan them and you can start to research it. So what's your overall aims and objectives for entering an award? Is it to increase your visibility? Is it to gain recognition for your hard work or, you know, some incredible work that you've been doing? Is it to validate your business? Is it to reach a wider audience? Or is it just to network? There's lots of reasons why you might want to do that. And I think that when you start to think about entering awards, you've got to have that all in mind when you're doing that. Because if you don't, then you might not be entering the right ones. So for instance, if it's about that credibility, that recognition, all of those types of things, then industry awards might be the ones for you to go after, because, you know, that's highlighting you as the creme de la creme in your industry. If it's as a almost business development kind of tool to get in front of your audience, then you might want to start thinking about awards that are perhaps in collaboration with somebody else. So for instance, say you provide a service and there's awards out there that are consultancy of the year or provider of the year, all of those different types of ones, then entering an award with a client will really showcase that type of work, and then that will get you in front of lots of other prospects.
Okay. How do you identify which awards are the right fit for a business or an individual?
Well, first off, I would look at what awards are out there and do some research. And don't just assume because that's an award that they're credible, because they're not all credible. I would say, first of all, look at maybe industry specific and then widen the net. But while you're doing that, in order to ensure that they are the right types of awards for you, check out the judges, check out the process. Is the judging process really robust? Are they displaying the judges on their website? Are there even any judges? Or are they asking it to go to public vote? You know, for me, I would try to avoid the public vote ones.
I'm not a fan of the vote ones. I know sometimes we've kind of gone along with them or clients have wanted to go for them, but we've got to kind of really dig deep to look at how that works and is it literally just sort of some popularity contest. And I think where that's been the case, we've advised people not to go for them, but that's not always the case, which again, I guess highlights the value of doing a bit more research to be really clear as to what the process is.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to do that digging. Don't just do that whole quick glance of the website. And if I think back, there is an industry award that the red flag should have come when somebody who I know received an email asking them to enter for the award. And on the face of it, it looked really, really great. It was free to enter. The information was out there. The website looked really, really good. Lots of credible businesses had applied. But where they really let themselves down is when that person went on to win that award, they had to pay for the logo and the privilege of the trophy. So they did, yes, get the image of themselves on stage, but the logo badge to say they won that award or the trophy, they had to pay for.
I've never come across that before. I've seen it where you get those scammy emails and some organisers will say, oh, you've won this award and like, you've literally won it and you need to pay $2,000 to get the trophy sent to you or whatever. So I've seen that, but I've never seen anyone get all the way through to the point of entering, attending. Presumably they probably had to pay to attend, so they made their money there. And then have to pay for their trophy. That's weird. I think that's really poor form. And was that obvious up front?
No.
That's sneaky. I don't like that.
It wasn't obvious up front. And also, if you're a smaller business, you might not easily be able to absorb that cost because you'd already invested in the whole sort of attending, the travel, the overnight stay, all of those different types of things. It's just really disappointing.
Yeah, I think that is poor crack for sure. In terms of this actual strategy, when I just think through the steps that we've already discussed, so we've talked about taking some time out to put your strategy and your plan together. You're starting off with those objectives. So why is it that you're wanting to enter and hopefully win awards this year? So you're already thinking about what are your goals, which is a great starting point. You're next then doing this research to look at things locally, regionally, nationally, to see what would be a good fit, keeping in mind those objectives. You're then doing a bit more digging to find out how credible are the ones that have popped up. How many do you think is a good number for people to be focusing on and is realistic? And does that number differ whether they do the entry themselves or whether they make use of an agency like ours?
I would say around 2 to 4, maybe slightly more if the process of writing or crafting that award entry is minimal. And when you're looking at that, think about what times of year that those are as well and when are the ceremonies too, because you need to make sure that you are available for the ceremony because you want to be there. And when we talk about that strategy and the reason why you're applying for the awards or entering the awards, you're doing that for a reason. So if it's to widen your network, if it's to get in front of prospects, you need to be at that award ceremony if you get shortlisted.
And does it make a difference if you're working with an agency? I guess in that sense, you're still going to have the same rationale around being available for the events. But actually, if you've got an agency that are doing the heavy lifting around putting the entry together, I guess you could go for a few more if in that situation. And it's important actually to think about the ceremonies because sometimes in particular industries, all the ceremonies seem to be at the same time, don't they? The same month. So actually you don't want to get kind of award ceremony fatigue when you're being shortlisted for all these events and then you're literally at an event every night for 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, and I think if somebody's writing them for you and someone's doing, like you say, all that heavy lifting, then go for as many as you want. Put your hat in the ring for them because it makes sense to do that because, again, that's more sort of, opportunities to shout about what you're doing, more opportunities to showcase it on your social media. And what better way than you've got a stream of, oh, I've been shortlisted for this award. And then, a few weeks later, oh, been shortlisted for another award. It's just great visibility for you and your business.
Yeah, and we've seen clients do it in different ways, haven't we? So we've had some clients who've absolutely gone all in on awards and have entered literally 10, 12 in a year and done really, really well with them and then smashed it and they've kind of ticked that box and then they're kind of onto the next level with awards, maybe with judging or going for bigger awards. And then we've had the other end of the scale where we've had clients who have been super, super focused on, I really want to go for this one particular award and this category, and they know what they want to go for straight away, and they just want to focus on that one. So I guess it depends what your time availability is, what your budget is.
Yeah, and when you talk about the award ceremonies and award ceremony fatigue, I do remember actually a client who went down for an award and they were back to back in the same place.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's quite funny, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I feel like in November I can be hanging out at Grosvenor House quite a bit if I wanted to. So, yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about that. And particularly if you're attending ceremonies in London and maybe you're based in the north, or, you know, for some of our global listeners, you know, in different states, that is another thing to consider within the costs, because if it's not local, then you've probably got transport and accommodation costs to consider on top of attending the ceremony itself, and you're probably not going to attend that alone. So again, you're going to have extra tickets for any guests that you want to take. It is worth costing it out, and I guess that can be part of your strategy. So when you're identifying those goals, then you might want to do the whole thing with a budget in mind. You're going to need a decent budget if you're looking at agency support to actually write those entries. But actually, that might be a good use of funds, because the time that you're going to save and the quality of the entry hopefully are going to make that cost very much worthwhile. But then it is also thinking about those additional costs that you might incur too. So I think awards as a strategy is a really powerful strategy. We've had success with awards over the years across different businesses, and now for lots of our clients as well. So we can see the benefits that it brings. Hopefully anyone listening will also be feeling a bit awardy this year and want to get stuck in. I think there's some good tips there just to get people started. Obviously, if they need any help, then they can hit you up, yeah?
Yeah, get in touch.
Where's the best place for them to find you? LinkedIn?
Yes, please.
We'll pop a link to Rachel's LinkedIn profile in the show notes. If anyone does want to tap Rachel up for some guidance around advice, then please do. Also, it's worth pointing out that we have an online course all around awards as well. We'll pop a link to that in the show notes also. So I hope that it's been useful today to get you thinking about awards and putting that as part of your marketing strategy for 2025. As always, let us know how you get on, and I'll catch you next week. As we head into 2025, I'm already planning the topics and guests to bring to Beyond the Bio. If you have any guest suggestions or topics, perhaps it's you or someone incredible that you know and or admire, please hit me up with your suggestions. I'm all ears. We will pop a link to the podcast guest form in the show notes.